took my ice chest, ate your food.
That's right. That's right. PJ is a master of the leave behind. It's like, oh, I left my ice chest at your house. I'm going to come pick it up right around dinner time. It's very, very clever. In response to what you said earlier, Jeremy, about the fact that the Morwen is not in the dead or retired character section, that's actually only for your characters. I never put my bad guys there, so you never really know. All right. Well, good evening.
That's what it is.
It could just be that we've never really killed one of his bad guys that counts before.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to session 125 of the Darkening of Mirkwood. And I have no idea what's going to happen tonight because I don't know what you crazy people are going to do.
The Night Lord's dead.
Is it? When last we left our heroes, after tying up a couple of loose ends at Thranduil's halls, including Mirkwood learning, thanks to some research at the Elven King's libraries, that the Morwen might already be dying, thanks to the previous heroism of Warsong and Angi, among others, the company headed down the elf path in hopes of finding Keloth the March Warden, hoping that he would know a way to find the refuge. And find him they did, just as he and a new recruit by the name of Gladwyn were currently engaged in ambushing a nest of spiders who had set up shop over the elf path. This was a particularly troubling turn of events, since the Elven King's magic has always prevented the spiders from crossing the path in the past. After the spiders were all killed or driven off, the party rescued a trio of dwarven brothers who showed their gratitude by gifting Warsong with a token of their generosity. Traveling with the elves deep into the mountains of Mirkwood, the party arrived at last at the ruins of the refuge where they spent the night, some of them recovering some of their hope from an ancient elven star-watching post. The next day they continued to search the refuge, eventually finding 4 fragments of what turned out to be a shattered seal left by Thranduil after his battle with the great vampire an age of the world ago. The seal seemed to have been recently shattered, and locating the hole which it had covered, the party descended down into Morgoth's maw. There, as foretold by the seal of Thranduil, they encountered hateful vapors, and were ambushed by an army of goblins led by a dark-haired Numenorian. Overcoming each of...
Really gorgeous hair.
That was not a thing that I said. Overcoming each of these obstacles in turn, they descended at last into the lair of the great vampire, where they encountered the Morwen herself. After tempting them with delusions, and then offering them a chance to flee, the nature of the great vampire overcame her, and she attacked the party. The halls at the heart of the world echoed with shrieks and the rattle of Dalish firecrackers, as the company put an end to the menace, Calimirith dealing the death blow with Atarangi, although not before Margud saved Angi's life with a well-timed limerick. Now the party finds themselves alone in the black desolation of the vampire's lair. Nothing near them but the yawning chasms and the horrible hame of the vampire. And at this point, what are you guys doing?
I just want to add, though, that you should, in my letter, I put in the thing about the limerick. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but can I read you the bit about the limerick?
By all means.
Good. So Kelly Meredith has been telling her nephew that the sword was really important to their victory. So she says, when Atarangi is yours to wield, you may take courage from knowing it has aided many champions before you. Yet our recent battle has reminded me that aid may come from even the lowliest and least expected places. During the fight, my friend Margud surely saved the life of Angi with a limerick, which you may know is a rude and unrefined mode of human poetry. Rude in a sense being like, unrefined.
Although since it's a limerick, it could be rude in the other sense as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was enough to wound the Morwen's pride and draw her attention from Angi, when another attack surely would have been the end of our brave corps. So remember, my Varanwe, never to scorn or overlook the assistance of good free folk, no matter how unlikely they may seem.
Fair enough. Right.
How big is the hane? And that's like a fancy word. That's like the
Skin.
skin, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Like, carrying this thing, like, even bundled up, it would make a pretty good-sized backpack.
Baldur walks over to Marky and says, sarcastically says, you could take this home and put it up on your wall.
While you guys decide what to do with that, I'm gonna go check on the girls. Be right back.
Kind of like they do the deer that some of these guys with the really big horns, they just put it up on the wall.
You mean like the well monster that's hanging on Warsong's wall?
Or like, you know how sometimes you rip off a monster's arm and beat him about the head with it a little bit and then put it on the top of your mead hall?
Yeah, like that.
Wait, when did that happen?
That is a reference to Beowulf.
Man.
Okay. I have not read Beowulf yet, so.
Hey, Ben.
Well, Tolkien did a translation, and
You showed up right as we finished the recap, so you haven't missed anything.
Oh, good.
We're just going to take care of the girls, and we're supposed to decide what we're doing with the hane.
I say
Yeah.
we throw it in one of these chasms and
That worked really, really well for that one thing that Sauron lost that one time.
I think so. A couple things.
we
and-
should throw it in the bottom of a river. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Well, even then, I think it could. Hang on a second.
Find somebody.
Okay,
here.
the gleaming ancient blade that Thranduil had was able to pierce the vampire's horny hide, according to the seal that we just found. So that makes me think it would at least be worth trying to. What?
Calamarith has.
Yeah, I was going to say Calamarith has a blade, and so my thought would be if we could cut it into small enough pieces and then carry it to where the sun was coming, because I really think we have to get this thing in the sun.
Yeah.
Do we?
Though I
would,
think this.
would tons of little pieces make it? If someone decided to do something with it,
Hey, I can see the top of Ben's head. Hi, top of Ben's head.
that's all that's left of me after today. Nose to the grindstone. That's just all that's left.
Fair enough.
Also, I think the sunlight might have been more for the fight than for once the fight's over.
Well, but so if I guess if we're trying to destroy it,
Yeah.
I mean, I learned from Interview with the Vampire that at least Tom Cruise, well, no, he doesn't die.
You're on
No,
thin
that's the
ice,
problem.
Morgan.
Well, I think that vampires and sunlight don't go well together. So I think even though we're done, if we don't want this thing coming back and biting us in the
Yeah, but see, this isn't Dracula. This is like a giant slappy thing.
I mean, it's worth a try.
Yeah, no, I'm with
I think putting
Jim
it
on
in the
that.
sunlight is a good just
I don't know that it would. We can. I mean, I feel like if it could have been destroyed by a magic sword, that Thranduil would have done that. I'm sort
Yeah.
of guessing that whatever sword Thranduil has as the Elven Prince / King is probably, no offense, Calamirith, probably a little more magical than whatever you've got.
maybe. Yeah.
I mean, sure, maybe not, but
well, what's the? Is there any harm in trying?
Yeah.
no, there's not.
I
No,
think yeah.
hack away.
And what does the room look like? Like where we're at in the cave?
It is the cave that you're in has a high vaulted ceiling, probably about 30 feet overhead. There were a bunch of bats in there, but they more or less cleared out after you guys started setting off fireworks.
We're not getting picked on by them. That's good.
It's extremely dark. The smell here is just beyond foul. And basically, the ground that you're standing on are these it's almost like a chain of semi-connected islands of stone over this incredibly deep black chasm.
Oh, wow.
And the one misstep and they might not ever hear you hit the bottom.
Somewhere in the distance, we can see Bowser on the far side.
Yes. At the far side, where the great vampire was kind of roosting when you first came in the cave, there does seem to be several sets of tunnels that go off deeper into the mountain.
Have we been over there?
You have not.
Do what?
You
We
have
not?
you have not.
Well, Angi, my dwarf friend, are tunnels made for exploring?
It depends. I mean, well, do we believe that this is the last vampire to be found down here?
I'm not looking for a vampire.
You're looking for Asfred's son.
I've only finished half of the reason I was here.
Hey, good point. I may have been struck very heavily in the head during our last fight. I completely forgot.
I don't know whether he would still be alive, or whether the beast may have taken over her enough. But I need to at least look for some clue.
Well, what are we waiting for, Dan?
Well, how? I don't want to leave the hame unattended. I'm nervous that way.
I would also like to point out that I at least do not want to make any more ability checks until I equalize my
Fair.
hope. So, I mean, I don't want to stop you guys, but that's something I'm worried about.
Okay, out of character, this is my first time ever having more shadow than hope, so that's bad, right?
Aha!
Yes.
Yes, sir. You are
Are you
miserable.
miserable also?
Yeah, I am.
We got two people that are miserable.
I'm 1 point away from being miserable.
I am 1 point away from it.
Ah, this is
That
bad.
too.
All right, but there's potentially a small, lonely child in the back of a horrible cave. So
That's true.
What
What's it?
what if Calimareth and I stay here, guard the hame?
So leave the two miserable people with the curse of like power hungriness. With
Yeah,
the...
that sounds like a great plan.
I think
Exactly, if that was our plan.
I think the best thing to probably do at this point is just to push that thing into this bottomless chasm.
right, I mean, that's probably where Thranduil left it too, right? I mean, and then sealed the doors up. It took like magical explosions to get it open.
Aye, but there's no seal now, and we're a little short on super powerful elven craftsmen who can make new ones.
Right, exactly.
How quick? I suppose it probably wouldn't come back to life all at once. And
Well, it
frankly, if
seemed
it
as
did,
needed someone else's life.
I'm sorry.
It seemed as if it needed someone else's life. She put it on herself, as far as I can tell.
Oh, I do have a question. Do you have to be naked when you put it on? I mean, we're all going to be standing around touching this thing, and I mean, the Morwen was, you know, in what she had. I mean, it's not going to like, you know, if I stick it in my pack, it's not gonna like crawl out and wear me if I'm wearing clothes, right? I mean, how does this work? Are there rules?
Hongi, I would not want to.
You
This
can
is an
tell
important
you think the
question.
tag.
No.
Maybe laundry
I
instructions.
don't want answered.
Somebody?
Wash with like colors, something like that.
Like wash with what, werewolf skin? I mean, is that the only other like color you know of? All right. Do we know?
Maybe I'm making a bigger deal of this than I should. And Baldur's right. We just kick the thing.
We can try to destroy it first.
And kick it down, and well, that might be better. Cut it up
Do you
and
want to try?
cut it up into little bitty pieces, then shove it down into a great big chasm.
Shove it into separate chasms.
Yes.
I mean, well, is it one great big chasm or is it lots of
We're
chasms?
on islands.
I feel like this might actually be the plot of a like a B horror movie where you have to stop like cultists from collecting all the pieces of the evil vampire skin.
I was gonna say like a video game.
Right, that too. What are we talking about?
Do any of you remember how far back the sun was? Was it a long distance back? I'm still halfway blinded by the fireworks. I can't recall.
Halfway blinded. I had one explode in my face.
Are you asking how far it is back up?
At least to the sliver of sunlight.
Yeah, long way.
Of course it is.
Yes, I highly suggest pushing this thing deep down into a great big hole, or or even cutting it up and shoving it down into great big separate, deep bottomless abyss holes that looks like will eat your soul. So,
Calamari, can you try your sword on it?
Sure.
magic sword.
Give me an attack roll, Kelly Marith.
Oh. Do I have to? Does somebody else want to do it? Someone who's not miserable?
Well, will this one count as? Is this an attack roll?
Give me a sword roll.
Wait.
Eyes don't count on battle rolls, but I'm not sure if this is actually a battle roll.
This is not combat, no.
Okay,
Okay.
so it does count.
Maybe we just.
Oh, for gosh sakes!
Who has anyone else?
Father, maybe grown just a little impatient. Will just try his own sword on it.
Give me a sword roll.
Oh,
Oh, my
You
goodness.
raise your sword up over your head, Baldur, and just bring it down, hacking. It feels like cutting into a wet phone book. But when you bring the sword back, the hame is ragged but still perfectly intact.
Perfectly intact.
and it was already ragged, right?
Right.
What kind of sword is that magic sword of Calamiris?
It's a sword.
Is it a long sword or a
It-
short sword?
it is-
Doesn't really
It
matter.
is a sword. It is not a long sword. It is not a short sword. It is a sword.
It doesn't happen to be from Gondolin, does it?
Is it a broadsword?
Uh,
Because you know that's the best part of Hero Quest.
I mean, it's not an Elvish blade from the First Age.
it is not. It's actually a dwarven make.
Oh.
I really like that roll though. Like that's good rolls.
Yeah.
Could we tie it up with? We surely have traveling rope. Can we just drag it along like a limp puppy, so that we can keep an eye on it? You know.
I got an idea. Don't we have another firework
I'm really curious as to exactly how Margood treats puppies now.
We could take Margaret's
I
suggestion.
want to go with him.
We take Margaret's suggestion. We tie it up, put the rocket in there, and
We
then
don't
drop
have
it.
any rockets.
I think he blew all three.
Right, just as we killed them all, when the last thing went off, I assumed in some sort
That's
of...
right.
It was more of a celebratory explosion at that point than anything.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Right. I think all of reality was rejoicing with this.
If you have any better ideas, I'm just going to shove this thing down this deep, this chasm, because I'm tired of it.
I think we should take in the sunlight first. I think I'm with Morgan on that.
All the way to the sunlight.
Right, I mean,
Which
You know how
direction is
far
the ship?
that is?
I don't know, but frankly,
I mean, I'm good to drag it along behind me for a while. if we
Isn't
want
there
to-
also sunlight further in?
I thought there was too. That there was the main mountain, and then there was a sliver of sunlight like partway down. But
Is that in the direction that we're wanting to go if we're going towards the nest?
No.
no.
Or sorry, I'm not sure. I thought, are you talking about going back up from where you came?
I think
Okay.
we're talking-
The sliver of light that was coming inside. Not from the entrance.
You don't see one here.
Okay.
Is it of an appropriate size to just tie up and lob along behind us?
Yeah, I mean it would be hard work. It's pretty heavy.
Baldur is still all against this. He believes just shoving it down this big deep hole will be enough.
Whatever we do, says Keloth, I think it should be done swiftly. This is an evil place, and there are other evil things than the vampire about, which may prove difficult before too long.
Then let us go quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if we take it out, we're gonna have to. I have a bad feeling that we're gonna probably have to bring it back in eventually to dispose of it anyway.
But Baldur's going to shove this thing down one of the chasms.
Okay.
He's tired of looking at this.
Is anyone stopping him?
This is such a terrible idea.
Baldur, give me a corruption test.
Is this magic corruption?
It is.
Okay, good. Well, I can add one more mastery back to it. I do not need it though.
All right. You shove
If Baldur
it.
puts this thing on like a fluffy pimp coat, we're in trouble.
You shove the Hail of the Vampire over into the dark chasm, and you do not hear it hit bottom.
All right.
Right, so next time there's a vampire, roaming the Mirkwoods, should we maybe leave a note to send for Baldur? Because this is his fault.
If there, maybe by the next.
Warsong's making her way in swiftly.
Yeah,
With
good thinking.
All right, we're following worse.
All right, so you guys are all going deeper into the caverns.
I am.
There might be little orphan boys in here.
Sigurd, you don't have to come with me, but I must go.
Right, if the rest of you want to stay, that's alright. But, like I said, little orphan boys.
All right.
I'm following Warstone yet. So.
All right.
Well, I guess we should stick together.
Okay.
What is Keloth then?
They will go with Warsong.
Hey, how many cave openings did you say there were?
2, I think.
There are 3 tunnels back behind the vampire's nest, and all 3 of
Does
them.
one smell less foul than the others?
They all
We have
smell
the-
pretty foul.
Are we at the nest now?
Yes.
Is there anything in the nest that is
No,
evidence?
the vampire was sort of hanging from the ceiling when you guys came in.
Is there any evidence of a human living here?
You can give me a hunting roll.
I think I might sheet up. Figureon is trained to help in that.
As far as you can tell, no.
Can we tell if there's any, like, have any of the passages been used recently? Can we tell that by the light of our lantern?
You can give me a hunting test.
Could I use search?
Can I also do that?
Search would be for searching. You're looking for tracks.
Right.
Yes, you can, but I also, at this point, I need everyone to give me a corruption test.
Oh, good. He's just trying to get us out of here is what he's trying to do.
Not trying to do anything with
Yeah,
the sword. You
I
can
work-
stay as long as you want to. Right.
14-6, what's our target?
14.
Which
Wisdom.
which one was that again?
Wisdom.
Alright. Let's... Alright, so do we just take one at a time, or do we take turns? I mean, we split it up.
Does my hunting roll count for that, or do I roll again?
With your hunting roll, you do not see any tracks to indicate either way, but the floor here is pretty hard. It wouldn't take tracks necessarily.
Sneak across the rock. Alright, I'm talking the far left tunnel. Anyone coming with me?
Alright.
I think the elves should take center, and the rest of you humans can take... Well, right, the rest of you humans can take the far left. All good?
You think we should split up, Ongi?
I mean, everybody... probably not, but... it seems like it's not a nice place, and this could get this done quickly. I mean... Right? We're just looking for a little boy.
And I mean, we could potentially run into another vampire. So,
Oh, we handled the last one.
yes, we were all together. We were not split into parties of 3.
Alright,
I'm
then let's all
miserable
go.
and want to get out of here as soon as possible.
Right.
Orson's
Alright.
gonna glance at Sigrun. Sigrun? Which one?
He just kind of sniffs and growls at all three.
Cool.
Oh, good.
Alright.
Alright.
Well,
So,
Ongi, lead on.
like I said, alright, you want to follow the light? I'll choose the third door.
Alright.
All right. Give me
So,
an
are we-
explore roll, Ongi.
Can I do awareness? I can roll really good awareness.
Give me
Dark.
an explore roll, Ongi.
'Just
14.
Ongi?
Whoever is going in front.
Great success.
Okay. You guys all following Ongi down?
Yes, I am.
Why is my mouse just freaking out? Sorry.
Margu, do you want to take the dwarf's suggestion, or do you just want to stay as a group?
I think we should stay as a group. I mean,
Okay, that's okay. We shall follow him.
things are equal to follow. You know.
All right. Your party begins to make their way deeper back into the roots of the mountains of Mirkwood. It is so dark that even with your lights, Ongi can only see a few feet in front of him. the passage twists and winds, and now and then you enter a place where the tiny little chink in the rock that you've been kind of following, almost a natural fissure, is interrupted by huge, smooth tunnels. Not cut stone, but stone that has been worn smooth by the passage of something.
Was there possibly goblin worms? I heard about those. You know, at the Battle of Five Armies, was it? Where they,
You just
right.
keep,
Werewolves, yeah. You
yeah, just keep digging that hole.
don't want to get those in your intestines.
I had a quiz when he was there, and he said,
Just keep digging that hole.
I just like the werewolms.
so tons of, well,
So it's a natural tunnel that's been worn smooth, hopefully not by something with a large bulbous backside that spins web.
Or, you know, dragons.
let's.
I need
So it's
everyone to go
multiple-
ahead and give me a corruption test.
Is it you said it was multiple tunnels?
Yep. Speed TN16.
Are you weary?
I am weary, yes.
What?
Wait,
TN what?
TN16?
TN16.
Oh no!
Darn it.
Okay, if you failed, you gain a point of shadow. Kelly Meredith
Fellowship pool left?
and Margood,
Yep, mine in the fellowship pool.
you both feel the crushing weight of the mountains above you, and you're gripped with a sense, especially you, Kelly Meredith, as a elf of the wood, that you might never see the sun again. The air is thick and heavy to breathe and
There's
foul,
one in the
and
fellowship pool. Somebody could use that.
now and then,
I've got 1 point of courage that I can also spend, so...
now and then you think you can hear a distant tap, 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 tapping on the rock.
I am gonna spend that point of courage, so...
Can we tell what's making the tapping sound? Is it natural? Is it like a little boy who's, you know, I don't know, rhythmically whacking his toe
Shadow
as he
Lord?
hits the wall?
Would Shadow Lord help with that?
Hard to tell.
Is there anything in here that's flammable?
It's all stone.
No cobwebs?
Your
no...
torches, you notice, and your lantern are burning lower as the air is getting staler and staler.
Alright, we're turning around.
Do
Clearly.
we have spare torches?
Yeah, it's not a matter of fuel. It's the air is.
It's a matter of oxygen. What are
Right,
the-
so if we
Is the
could
one
live
farther?
here, then no little boy could live in here.
Do
Right?
we go one farther or stop here?
Do we see any end in sight to this?
You don't see basically anything, Balder.
Alright, let's turn around and get back. I mean, I think he's probably still seeing spots after that firework.
Angi, as you turn around to lead the party back, you suddenly find yourself squinting into the darkness. You could have sworn that this turn wasn't here before.
I could... Right. So, a funny story, folks. Right, so there's an extra turn in the way. No, nothing to be concerned about, I don't think. Could I possibly... What do I need to roll to figure this out?
This will be another explore test.
Good, because right now everything I do is plus 12.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Is that your stiff neck of the dwarves thing?
Yes. Right now, it's very stiff. Chiropractic is coming off and I'll get back on.
So it's 20 and a great success.
Success.
You might say that Narvi is even creepier in the dark than the Castle Queen Baruthiel. You're pretty sure it's left, Angi.
Alright, it's left. I mean, pretty sure. Only what could go wrong? We could be trapped underground forever with a horrible vampire skin. I mean, I don't know why I'm answering my own question here.
Could we
Anyway,
Walking with her hand on Sigarun's shoulder, and her fingers are kind of like entwined in his fur.
He is whimpering.
it's alright, baby.
I do need everyone to give me another corruption test.
I'm sure everything will just be fine. Everything will be. Oh, at least maybe. What's
What's-
the leaves?
What's the TN?
16.
Oh no.
All right.
So,
After it is very difficult to judge time. You start losing track of when the last time you ate, when the last time you slept. But sometime, probably a few hours, maybe a day or two, at the longest, you find yourself back at the nest of the vampire.
Margaret, where's your poke and shadow at?
Does a miss on that test automatically increase shadow, or
Yes,
like you say
it increases shadow by 1.
My hope is 6, and my shadow is 10.
Are you all right with me using the last fellowship pool to stay out of being miserable? I can just make it with that.
Fine with me.
Sure, somebody's gotta be sane.
Because I feel a wee bit mad right now, so we'll hope it passes.
You know, I've been called mad my whole life.
For someone who can be able to navigate this place, I can understand why a wee mod only.
I mean, navigate is a sort of a relative term.
Do we?
He said, instilling confidence in his entire party. Alright. Are we leaving?
What about the other two?
I'm not going back down there.
Alright, that's fair.
I got a feeling these two tunnels may very well be the same as the last one.
Hey, could we send Tulkas and Sigarun down one of them?
If we try to do that, we may never.
I wouldn't send Sigrun.
Yeah, I know,
Alright,
much like
alright.
puppies. So.
How much rope have we got?
Well, I have the rope in my pack, and we didn't end
Right.
up tying the ham up, so I guess
Right,
we have
so-
the rope in each of yours.
You couple with, around my waist. I'll go down the middle one, and if I start screaming, or possibly, line goes slack or something, then you can just pull me out, right?
I'll go with you, Anki, but I like your idea.
Alright, so, rope? Fine. Fine, I'll use wrapping the rope around himself.
Okay.
We're linking it all together.
Okay.
Well, if I happen to find a little orphan boy down here, I might keep him. Because at this rate, I have earned him. That's how orphans work, right?
All right. You guys going down into the second opening?
Yes. Like psychos.
Okay.
So, what is the purpose of the rope again?
So that y'all who are staying back can pull him back.
Right, and if I get completely lost and there happens to be a new
I
one,
mean, you
then
spent several hours down the last hole. Like, it was probably multiple miles of walking.
Oh,
So your rope is going to get you...
Nowhere.
deep size.
But what are the tunnels there for if not to be there for something?
To be there for nasty things to live in, nasty things that want to eat us.
Like
I mean-
orkworms.
I don't like this.
You can go as far down as the rope gets you on the last two tunnels, but if you don't see anything, we should probably pack up and leave. We've been down here long enough.
We've been down here too long.
I could use a nap on the stone up top that gives me hope.
Alright. Let's take a vote. Who wants to leave? Raise your hand.
Balder raises his hand.
And Elf and Margaret. Alright. And Warsong. I mean, it's... Well, alright. You can think about it for a minute. Kelloff and Girl Elf. Other Girl Elf. And, I don't remember your name. I've been here on my head repeatedly.
It is difficult to tell how long we've been down here, but by my reckoning 3 days have passed
Good.
since we first descended the gorge.
You should just be glad Nangi knows you're a girl.
Well, joke's on you, because that was Killoth talking.
No, well, no, she's saying this.
Oh, okay.
to,
Gladwin. Yeah. It will have been noised abroad by now that the great vampire is dead.
Oh.
What are you saying?
I'm saying we should not count on not being met with a welcoming committee when we return to the refuge, and that every hour we pass here makes that more and more likely.
Oh, so that's a raising of your hand saying you want to leave then?
Warsong, I do not see how anything could survive down here.
That's sort of what I'm beginning to think.
And if the Mormon was taking care of the lad, and it's been 3 days, he's probably wandered off anyway.
I do not think she is here.
She? What?
Sorry, he.
Oh.
Claudia's here! Oh! Split twist! I'm saying it!
I do not think that any human would live in this place, even under her sway, for very long.
Right.
This is out of here.
If not him or his body, at least something that would allow him to stretch houseway.
Well, we know that the Morwin was in communication with Easterling allies, right?
Could we be having this conversation as we're leaving?
No, we cannot.
And so, alright, so let's think about it. Who could we ask? So, we know he's got Easterling allies. She's also going to need food to feed this thing, which, I mean, I suppose she could ask goblins to bring in.
We know she wasn't nursing him.
I'm going to his home.
He was 4 years old.
Would he not be older than that by now?
I've only been down here 3 days.
Not much older. Just 4.5 years.
If you want to search the other two chasms, Warsong, I will. We will accompany you, of course, but. I suspect not even a vampire knew what was down there.
Look.
Okay.
Alright. We'll find him, Warsong, don't you worry. Somewhere out there, there's a little boy with royal blood who's just waiting for us to march up and bring him home. Somewhere.
Alright, you guys. What are you doing?
We're leaving.
Alright. As you slowly make your way up the narrow ledge, twisting and snaking its way up the side of the mountain, above you the air is thick with dark hordes of bats which have begun to gather on the overhanging cliff face. And even you suspect, though it is day outside, in the darkness of the gorge, you can see their red gleaming eyes looking down from you by the thousands, watching you as you ascend the wall. As from the deep crack below, the foul vapors rise, and you find yourself engulfed once again in the dark mists.
Sword? Magic sword? Did we do the magic sword thing?
The magic sword.
Last time we broke it out, it cleared the mists.
Would that help us move faster?
Give me a
If mists were cleared?
you can give me a song roll, or a roll of song or inspire. All right. So, as you pass through the mist once again, you need to make a corruption test of TN 18.
Oh, what test?
Corruption. So wisdom.
And
18.
Hey, that's not happening.
What test are we rolling?
Corruption.
Corruption. Oh, yes, sorry, 18. Oh, good. Good. Oh, take that, evil mist!
All right. Everyone who fails gets 3 points of shadow.
We're in double madness, aren't we?
Some of you are looking at that.
What's that mean?
It means that you sort of shrink a little bit and get an affinity for axes.
Kelly Meredith, it may benefit you more to spend a point of hope than to take those 3 shadow.
Oh, good point.
Because then you'll only be 2 instead of 4 if my math is correct.
Yeah, okay, I'll spend a point of hope.
How did? Am I only getting the 2 dice because my wisdom's only 2?
Yes.
That's correct.
Right.
3 and 4.
Yep. Yay, new characters! Woo! All right. As you round the corner, where the previous ambush had taken place, you can still see the skeletal remains of goblins, now picked clean, you would guess by the bats, broken on the rocks around you as you continue to make your way. Once you are clear of the cave entrance, you see a huge swarm of black bats begins to fly in. They're chirping and squawking and shrill cries filling the valley.
Well, I'm sure they can't find the hen, right? You know, go down to the door, hits.
Could I use my horn to scare them off?
You can certainly try.
Maybe, but if you do that, you're gonna announce to everybody else that we're coming.
Yeah.
Well, I did that previously when I used the horn in the valley.
But now they know we're coming back.
Well, that is true.
All that's left were the little coward bowmen from the cracks, though. I mean, we killed all the good ones, you know.
Yeah, but more might have come in those 3 days.
I'm not so sure we need to be announcing our presence to everyone with a mighty trumpet blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
All right.
I too,
If would it be better to announce it and scare all the bats off, or not, or try to hide it and all the bats attack us?
I think that the bats is nothing but winged anything. They're not that bad.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna kick the goblin skull. I'm sure guinea pigs could do this. Really tried. You know, got really hungry.
I think that there's guinea pigs down here.
All right. So you're blowing the horn.
No.
Okay.
The party doesn't want to, so.
All right. After a long climb, you're forced to make multiple stops to rest, just because of the thick, choking mist that you're passing through makes it difficult to breathe. Going uphill is apparently a lot harder than going downhill.
Well, duh.
But you, at long last, emerge from the fissure in the rock into which you had passed some 4 or 5 days before, and look upon the refuge again at the setting of the sun.
Great. Of course it's setting of the sun.
Baldur's gonna kind of walk out and kind of rest on his sword as he looks at the as he admires the sunset for what he hasn't seen in days.
I think we ought to kind of have a glance around the perimeter of this place.
Yeah.
If there's still enough light, I'd awful much like to go up to the Hope Rock.
I agree. We should not wait here long. Rest while you can. At first light, we will make our way back towards the elf path.
Right.
And Keloth and Gladwin kind of take up sentry positions, one in the tower and one about halfway up the stair.
All right.
So you guys are resting for the night. You can recover your basic heart +2.
So now, who's sleeping in the upstairs?
You can stay as many nights in the refuge as you would like. For every night that you stay, the hunt goes up by 1.
I was gonna say how many nights we dare. What is the hunt at right now?
Right now, it is at 7. The threshold is 12.
I mean,
And you
we
still have
did-
travel rolls to get back.
Yeah, we gotta do some resting.
All right. So how close are y'all to like would 2 nights be enough to get somebody unmiserable?
At this point, I'm 3. I need 3 more hope points to be out of the misery pit.
Okay.
The weary hole, the misery pit.
It's bad. I need 7.
All right. So we can't stay that long.
I mean, if I get 1, I'm out of the double whatever thing that you all spoke of coming up the path.
Well, that isn't fixed by getting your hope up. That is fixed by getting your shadow
Shadow
down.
Which is a fellowship.
Well, now, is that double what his hope is, or double what his max hope is, though?
Max hope.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's not double what your max. So the rule is, if your total shadow is over your starting hope, then when you have a bout of madness, you have a double bout of madness. That just means that it is worse, and it counts for your first 2. So in your case, your total shadow is 13, but your starting hope is 14, Margood. So you're still in the normal 1 bout of madness.
Single bout of madness.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we just stay here. Can we manage 3 nights to get?
Is anybody else miserable?
I
I
don't.
am
Ongi is.
right, but just by 1.
Alright.
Oh, I'm completely miserable.
And Balder, how close are you?
I'm 1 up.
How many people can sleep?
3.
3, I think.
Well, Balder and Ongi only need a night, right?
Right.
Just 1.
No. I'm not night dressed up there would definitely help. So
Well, so we say. So are we saying 3 nights? So Calamarith isn't.
Sure.
Is that? That puts us.
That would-
The hunt would be at 10 of 12,
Um,
and we still have travel rolls getting back.
Possibly corruption rolls, too.
Probably corruption rolls. Or we can stay 1 night, and Calamarith is still miserable, but we get Balder and Ongi unmiserable. Of course,
Yeah.
then you don't have any extra hope to spend.
I mean, I think if we're gonna stay, we better make sure it counts for at least a few people.
Yeah. Well, one night gets 2 people unmiserable. 3 nights gets 3 people unmiserable.
I'm not miserable. I'm 1 above being miserable.
Oh, I see.
So
So right now, only me and Margood and Angi are miserable, right?
Yeah.
right. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of good wisdom points.
Well, 1 night or 3?
I say 1 night.
I say 1 night.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So 1 night, and it's Augusta and Ongi and Margaret.
Sounds good.
All right, so you stay one night. That puts the hunt at 8. All right. Augusta, no, Calimirth rather, Margaret and Ongi spend the night looking out at the night sky, dark but not dark in the same way as the oppressive caverns of the great vampire. And especially for you, Calimere, it's just the ability to look out again on the stars and to see the wide open air and to look out over the treetops of Mirkwood. Does your heart good. All right. And with the next morning comes the rising of the sun. Are you ready for the journey then? I would advise moving quickly. These mountains are full of wolves, and by now everyone will know that we have slain the great vampire.
You keep saying that, but wouldn't the fact that we, just did in the biggest of bosses be a reason not to come at us?
Well, that's certainly one line of thinking.
I mean,
It's like punching water. You get one out of the way, there's 1,000 more to take its place. Now they're all wanting to be it.
Yes, and and by the way, remember those of you who are carrying treasure, you have 1 fatigue for every treasure that you're carrying from the
Yes.
Great Vampire's Lair.
Wait, what now?
When you're carrying treasure from the Great Vampire's Lair, you have 1 fatigue for every treasure which you are carrying.
Well, I've only got 1 piece of treasure, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. It doesn't apply for you because you got a special thing. So this is just for
Alright.
people with
guess I'm
ordinary
back to
treasure.
being wary again.
Do I need to put the bow on?
Sorry,
Or
Sophie.
is the bow encumbrance?
Just normal bow encumbrance,
Alright, I'm
like
wary
2 or
again.
something.
Wait, so I got 7 treasure, so I gotta go up 7?
Yes, your fatigue is increased by 7 until you get that treasure somewhere safe.
Is that...
Unless you want to decide to bury it here, but then you don't get to use it unless you come back for it.
How do I just add that under...
What I would do is add an item. What I would do is add an item under your equipment, under your inventory,
Gear,
gear.
I think is what it
Yeah.
says on the sheet.
Yar, as they say in Anglo-Saxon. Oh, is there a spot for that on the new sheet? Where is that?
I put under gear. I just put my bow.
Yeah, they're under gear. So under gear, under description, you would just put treasure and then add the amount of encumbrance, and then it'll calculate it in.
This just keeps getting better. and
Yeah,
better.
you are capped out on encumbrance, by the way, Margood. You cannot carry anything more than you are currently carrying.
Mm-hmm.
So, just FYI. And they will be aware that whoever it is that has killed the biggest bad in the area, as you say, will be leaving her lair with treasure, and they will be weighed down and weakened from their encounter. Now, if you're all ready to go, I suggest you get ready to march.
Baldur was ready about 5 days ago.
Me too.
All right. As you guys begin heading down out of the mountains of Mirkwood and back towards the elf path, are you guys just headed back towards the Elven King's halls? Are you guys heading somewhere else? Are you going to go hunt some trolls? Do you want to head to Sunstead instead? Like, where are you going? What are you doing?
Hey, what's closest?
I think King Thranduil's Hall is closest.
Probably,
They're not
yeah.
controls at
All go to King Thranduil's halls.
That's where I want to go.
What I'm wondering is if Kelloff could take, like, why would we go there as opposed to somewhere else? Could Kelloff take word?
I mean, it is certainly the closest, and you guys do not know the way out of here.
Well, if we get to the elf path.
Oh, well, yeah, if you get to the elf path, then you can do whatever you want.
Well, I would say we're definitely going to the elf path.
All right.
Yes, I don't think we're heading back straight south through the
Yeah.
get the sun stand.
All right, well, if you guys are heading back through the elf path, the first part of your journey will take 9 days traveling through
Are
the...
the ponies still there?
There.
I haven't been eaten.
The first
I'm
part,
not-
they're cleverer than your average pony.
Is there any? Could we put our treasure on? Like, is there any way, any rules for like? carrying the
No.
treasure?
If you use them as pack animals, you will lose the speed advantage.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, we don't want to lose the speed advantage.
and the fatigue from treasure, it's not just weariness from carrying it, it's also the trouble that you have to take to keep it safe. Like, so.
Okay.
All right, you guys, the first leg of your journey, back towards the elf path will take you 9 days all told, as Kaloth leads you, winding through the oak and the beech and the tall pines of the passes, beneath the gleaming eyes and the dark croaks of the gore crows, croaking their hateful songs as eyes, perhaps squirrels, perhaps other things, peer out at you from the trees. I need everyone to go ahead and give me your first fatigue test. This will be at TN 20.
This is a travel test.
Yes. I also need a corruption test at TN 16.
Wait, I've got 11. Shit. Okay. Good.
Okay, how much weariness do we take?
You take 2 points of travel fatigue.
Oh.
And what was the team for the corruption?
The TN for the corruption is 16.
And the travel is just a travel roll at TN what, 20?
Yes.
I don't care if I fail all these rolls as long as I don't roll an eye.
If you fail the corruption test, it is 2 points of shadow.
Does the Gandalf do anything?
It's an automatic success.
If the eye does something, shouldn't the Gandalf do something? Like, I don't know, just reflect our maybe upswell of hope. Perhaps the entire party, maybe.
So,
All right, I'm spending a point of hope to not take 2 shadow.
what do we... so we get 2 shadow if we screwed that up?
Yes.
So now you're double bout of madness, right? Shadow goes up.
Said the TN was 16 for the.
For the corruption test, yes.
Wait, travel was 16?
Travel is 20, corruption is 16.
Okay, well, I'm going to spend a point of hope to make that wisdom, because that would be better for me. Because either way, I would be miserable. So.
Should
All right.
we've slept multiple times, right? Did we get
Yeah, over the course of 9 days, your health should probably be back to max.
Oh yeah, no longer weary. Farewell to the
how
weary.
much fatigue do we get if we failed?
2 fatigue.
Okay.
The mountain caves are home to bats in uncountable numbers, and you get the distinct sense that they are following you from a distance as you wind your way down as secretly as possible. And as you get lower and lower towards the foothills of the mountains, closer and closer to the elf path, you can hear the howling of wolves seems to intensify. I need everyone to go ahead and give me a second fatigue test at TN 20 and another corruption test at TN 16.
Alright. Fatiguing top. Plus 11. Yay! Hey! Calamira is motivated.
She can already smell the home fires. Hey, Margaret. Lots of Gandalfs tonight, you guys.
That Gandalf saved
The,
that role.
the general, like, universal balances have been temporarily tipped in your favor thanks to the death of the Morwen, it would seem.
Alright, so what was the corruption test?
The
Was it
Morwen, all
16?
along.
TN 16.
And what do we get if we failed that one?
If you failed the corruption test or if you failed the...
I got the travel, I failed corruption.
Alright. Corruption, you get 3 points of shadow.
Ooh, it keeps going up.
How high does this go?
It resets when you have a bout of madness.
That's probably where we're going to end up.
At this
Or,
point, you're
something you're able to clear it all before it happens.
Alright. And at last, after 9 days of travel, you have reached the Elf Path, which, although it is apparently not as safe as it once was, these lands are at least patrolled by Thranduil's people. And it is with great weariness. But all of you, much to my own surprise, have at least arrived, whole of body and more or less sound of mind. So, are you guys headed back to the Elven King's halls? Are you guys, do you want to head back there and take a fellowship phase? Do you guys want to go ahead and do the year end? What do you guys want to do?
Warsong needs. Well, Warsong needs to go to the Bjornings and let them know that she is not dead. So I will not be going and hanging out at the King's Palace.
Okay. All right. Are
Oh,
you gonna just go like leave straight
I'm
now?
going to go and how far away is it from where we are?
The Elven King's halls, it's about 5 days.
And the Bjornings?
Down the elf path to the Beornings is about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Calamira wants to go back and find out how her king is.
Mm-hmm.
Baldur is going with Calamir, and after seeing how who Dandor is, he's heading on back to Lake Town.
Are you splitting up the party? Everybody going their way?
I would offer to you the hospitality of my lord. All of you have certainly earned it for your deeds. Even if you have other things to do and other places to be, some rest would not be amiss.
Calamari? Is there any way for you to, with your animal thing, word that we have come back? You're speaking to the animals.
Send word to whom?
Rainy and Ragnikar and Mirkwood.
Where are they?
To their owners.
Okay. I don't think it works like that. Richard, does it?
Warsong has no idea. It just seems kind of
Yeah.
magical. And
Well, and the audience could actually talk to animals too if they're right.
Yeah, actually, you
Randy?
could theoretically do this. Yeah,
Randy can talk to
Oh,
birds.
Randy can.
yeah, you could theoretically do this. Give me a roll of song or riddle.
Do you guys want me to go crazy over trying to talk to birds?
You don't sing the sort of thing you do when you're crazy.
I guess to try to decide just how much she likes you guys.
If you go really truly crazy, we'll find a very, very nice place for you.
I
Some place that lets you, have some yard time, at least like once a day.
Yard time?
Right,
I seem to have dozed off a bit there. Connection. What are we deciding?
It's
We're
It
deciding
is-
which way to go. Balder and Calamirith went to go to Thranduil's. Warsong is
I count me in.
that if she doesn't let the Beornings know she's safe, Ragnakar's going to do something she doesn't want him to do.
Like
I
wander
tell
into the
her
mountains
the
of
answer
Mirkwood by
is-
himself.
Do what?
Nothing.
my answer is yes, I suppose that's something I could do, but to be honest, right now I haven't quite got the heart.
Alright. Well, if y'all are taking word to King Thranduil, then I think I need to move on to go to the Beornings.
Well, I can't let it go by ourselves. I mean, it would be a serious pity if we, defeated the great vampire and then some goblin killed Warsong on the way.
Sure, Randy wouldn't mind seeing me.
Probably. I mean, this is where I met you, remember? Back on the way, here on the elf path, me and my best shaman.
I remember that. There was a troll, as I recall,
Right. There were lots of trolls.
back then.
That's also where I met Flowey. Bastard.
I remember that too, and his pudding. It wasn't very good.
I assume the relationship there is not good.
Myself and Flowey.
Yes.
What you say? The Flowey's my only living relative.
Oh.
And honestly, I wish he was dead.
Hey, I know that feeling.
I sound like y'all have a healthy relationship.
Well, it's like that one human story that Mankind tells about the one guy with the sword that just really wants to chop off all the other guys with swords' heads. And so in the end, there can only be one. I think that's how it goes. Right? Well, just imagine that.
Only one. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So now imagine it with the shorter men with axes, and that's how it works. We're not Highlanders per se. More like Coldlanders maybe.
Well, if you're heading with Warsong, I'm going back. I need to see if they have any special something at Thranduil's place to help out. I'm feeling a bit shadowy.
I don't blame you, my friend. That's
I feel like we were just getting to know each other, though, Angi. saving you with my limerick and whatnot.
Right, thank you for that. I shall cherish that moment for all time.
Hello.
Oh no.
All right, so do we like high five or?
All right, so you guys splitting up.
This is the party. This always goes well.
Great bow.
You know, splitting up by several hundred
Miles.
miles.
Sorry, trying to get something for Sophie. Alright.
Also, all the most. Do they get courage when we're gone?
Nope.
Alright, so, here's what we're gonna do.
Which way is Margaret going?
Since the party is splitting up, this seems like a natural time for there to be a fellowship phase. It's going to be a little weird since you guys are splitting up, so I'm just going to quickly narrate the group going back to Thranduil's halls, and then we will see if Angi and Warsong make it safely to the land of the Beornings.
Is Margaret's going to Thranduil's halls?
I am.
Okay. So, first of all, if your fellowship focus is wounded, miserable, or poisoned, you gain a point of shadow at this time.
Warsong is none of those, is she?
Nope.
Wait, you said we gain another point of shadow if our fellowship focus
Is
miserable?
is miserable, yes. Gotta look out for your fellowship focus, man.
Whoa.
Your fellowship focus.
Calamarith.
Oh.
Alright. Alright. So,
I'm sorry about that.
So you brought me.
I woke in shadow, so kind of hope because Warsong was my fellowship focus, and she is
Oh,
like one of the few of us who's not
okay.
in trouble.
What order do we do it in? Because this makes a difference, because I think Angi's miserable.
yes.
No,
Which, if Angi's what?
I'm not. Wait, I checked it wrong.
Yay! Because if you were, I would be.
Good, well then we can be unmiserable together.
Yay! Cool. So I am not miserable. I'm back on the point of view. Okay.
Wow, you're really close there, Angi.
What? Just, rolling in line?
Well, Warsong not being miserable got me back out of got me back into not being miserable. So.
Okay.
Oh,
I
Alright.
saved everyone!
All right. So those of you returning to the Elven King's halls, you find that Thranduil's state has not improved. He remains in this deep sleep. Prince Legolas is doing what he can with the help of Ormal to see to the realm. Scouts and war parties have been dispatched all along the elf path. It is whatever the source of the magic that was protecting the woodland realm seems to have faltered for the moment. And it is now, in fact, Calamarith and Keloth are only there resting a few days before they are sent out to guard the borders again.
Can we clear travel fatigue at this time?
You can. Balder, Warsong, Angi, Margood. You all have the ability during the next fellowship phase, if you would like to claim the title of Elf Friend. Because of your deeds, which will be the matter of legend and song in years to come. you will be recognized. If you claim the title of elf friend, it's like claiming title for any other culture. Elf friend applies to all elves. So, like, if you went and met some other elves somewhere, you'd still be an elf friend. And so that just basically means that your standing applies with the elves as well as with your home culture. It is a very rare honor.
I think I'll take it.
That'll be a fellowship phase action for you to do when you get to take a fellowship phase. But you and Warsong, in the meantime, have a journey ahead of you.
Right.
So, we'll come to that, and then we'll do fellowship phase actions as maybe sort of the last thing tonight. So, you set off down the elf path. It's about a 2-week journey to the land of the Beornings, and I'm going to need both of you to make 3 fatigue tests at TN 16.
All right.
I'll laugh in the face of fatigue tests. He's a rolling eye. 16, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So
And there it is.
dang it!
Man.
I mean, I still pass it. Handily. But that's the eye.
Yeah.
Richard, since it's a great success, and can I apply Mirkwood lore as a trait to check off the 3rd box?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see here. Just got to pull up my hazard tables.
Wait. I could spend a point of hope to turn that into a Gandalf, you know.
You could.
I could with my eyes for Hobbock. Additionally, you may spend a point of hope to change an eye result you get on a travel roll into a Gandalf instead.
Well, that's pretty cool, and then you'd be miserable, so I don't see a downside here.
Yeah, no, me neither. I mean, no. Fine!
Doesn't our fellowship reset now?
You don't have a fellowship. You are not with the fellowship. The fellowship pool is 2.
Oh, so you have 2.
Yep.
Is that not?
Would that count so I could use my...
Plus 12.
My hope is 12, my shadow is 11.
I don't know, but stiff neck.
I can make it. I can still make it, but it depends on whether or not I want to keep that eye or not.
Oh, you make the roll, but we get a hazard. I got it. Okay, yeah. Sorry, tracking that.
So,
Do we? It's up to you.
Augie?
We deal with the hazard, or
Let's deal with the hazard.
Okay.
What do we got?
Which one of you is the scout for the purposes of this?
Is that travel? Or
It's explore.
Warsong's the scout with the general party.
All right then, Warsong.
Oh, I made it boo-boo. It's a technical dwarven term.
All right, Warsong and Augie. As the two of you are making your way down the path, you're about a week into your journey, about halfway through, and you do now and then encounter a bit of spider webbing over the top of the trees above the trail. For the most part, you can actually see where some of this webbing has been burned away by the elf patrols. There comes a day when, as you are camping beside the elf path, that your campsite your rest is interrupted by the shrill howl of wolves. And Sigrun instantly sits up, the hairs on his back bristling as he growls, and you can see now and then a flash of gray fur, huge yellow eyes gleaming at you from the forest, and then vanishing suddenly. What do you guys do?
It's night.
It's evening. It's Mirkwood, so it's almost indistinguishable from night anyway.
I think we should probably build the fire up. Yeah?
I'm always good with building fires, yeah.
Okay.
If we built it tall enough, we could burn all the way through the canopy and get a spot of sunlight.
That sure would be nice. Maybe we should think that.
All right.
I'll wait to see if the trees decide they want to murder us.
Aye, but in this forest, Smokey the Bear is Beorn.
Only you can. You know what? Screw it. Kill you.
All right. As the fire grows larger, you can now see multiple eyes gleaming in the reflection, and Sigrun is just pacing back and forth, just going completely crazy. And you get the sense that they're just waiting for it to become night.
Alright, so I am a terrible singer. Do you suppose wolves like terrible singing?
I'm not sure if it bothers them or not.
So are we suspecting that these are evil Mirkwood wolves? Or do you suppose these are just normal wolves who might be terrified by dwarven singing?
I don't know. I don't care much for their singing.
Right, so
Sigar's shoulder appreciatively. Sigar.
So you could sing, and then they could run away because you have wonderful magical songs.
Well, I'd be happy to sing. I actually.
Yes, sing us a song.
What?
Hello. Is it one of those horrible feral hobbits?
Sing
Is
us
that
a song. Sing us a song of fat, juicy little plump. Sing. Yeah, you look up and there is a huge spider just kind of swaying slowly back and forth.
Like,
You know what?
define huge.
Pretty big.
Is it huge like that one that ran away?
Like size of a church, or like maybe small dot large, like a van?
It is huge, about the size of that one that ran away. Yes.
All right. I have a better idea, Miss Spider. What's your name, by the way? My name is, well, I'm a dwarf, so my real name's a secret. But
Oh, it's alright. You don't need to talk.
no. What I think we should have a game of riddles. You know, I'm sitting here on the fire. You're hanging up in a tree. I mean, that seems like a good way to spend the night. Am I right? What do you think, Warsong? Game of riddles? Yes.
Sure.
Give me a riddle roll, Ben.
All right. Riddles it is.
Does stiff neck of the wars apply to that?
It does not.
What is the riddle at?
2.
Cool. Mine too.
TN14? Or is this imposed roll?
This will be at a TN16.
Alright. What have I got? What's my fellowship pool at? Is it 2 now since there's 2 of us?
It is 2.
Yep.
Can I spend one? Spending it, and that brings me up to 17.
17, huh?
Right, just barely. You know, the sort of convincing that you can do for a carnivorous, 8-legged thing.
Hmm. Yes. Well then. Maybe we'll hear what it has to say.
So what I'm thinking is that we have this little contest. Right. And that way, we both avoid the very unpleasant end which will come from one of us. I'm not saying we're going to do it easily, but there's going to be some axes, flying and bits being.
I would really prefer to eat you.
All that, I mean, you could try, and that's what I mean. You're trying to avoid.
I would really prefer to eat you before the wolves do. So maybe you should get on with impressing me.
I lost.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Which is
Cat.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
yeah, I can hear that.
Alright, sorry, I must be having bandwidth issues tonight or something. Okay. Just speed testing to see what's going on. Okay, so she says, I'd really like to eat you before the wolves get a chance. So maybe you should get on with impressing me.
Right. So you're saying I should tell you a riddle? Is that what you're
You're the one who proposed the contest.
Oh, give me just a moment while I think of something that is worthy of your arachnid cleverness. Tell me a riddle.
The howling of the
Good
wolves
dirty
intensifies.
Anglo-Saxon riddles.
I mean,
Actually, not off the top of my head, but I remember them from my Anglo-Saxon class.
right, there's something about a key where like everything is.
It's a
Cheese
key!
and onions.
It's a key! What else did you think it is? Come on! Alright. Are
I
you,
mean, they're clean, but
you
like
don't
know,
you don't have
hard
to
to answer them if you got a
you don't
dirty
have to
mind.
find a riddle, Ben, if you just want to give me a riddle test.
Right, but I feel like I have no idea what this is. Like, seriously, what the heck is this thing that I've just read? I have to check and find out what it actually is, because it could be good, or it could be something truly bizarre that nobody will ever know the answer to.
As you do that, the spider sways slowly back and forth, clearly becoming impatient as Angi tries to think of a riddle.
Now, although this is one that only the cleverest, most well-travelled spiders know. So it's time for you to show me what you've got. Now, there's a greenhouse, right? There's a greenhouse, and inside the greenhouse, there's a white house, and inside the white house, there's a red house. And inside the red house, there's lots of babies. Just oodles of babies. What am I? not me per se, but the thing which I'm describing in this riddle.
I've heard this one before.
A greenhouse with a little White House inside.
Well, it's like one of those
And a
nesting
red
houses,
house inside of that. And inside of the red house, lots of little babies. I do so love babies.
You know, I do too.
They're
For
so
entirely different reasons.
sweet and tender. This would be harder if you didn't look so much like a melon already.
Well, okay, alright. So
Now
you're a
it's
spider.
time for me to ask one. Beautifully made in many ways is this world, cunningly adorned. I saw a strange thing, sitting in a house, singing in a house. Its shape was more wonderful than anything among men. Its beak was underneath, its feet and hands bird-like, but it cannot fly or walk at all. Yet, eager for movement, it starts to work. It often goes round again and again among noble men sitting at the banquet board, awaiting their turn till it comes its time to display their skill among those who are near. It partakes of nothing that the men have there for their pleasure. Brave, eager for glory, it remains dumb. Yet it has in its foot beautiful sounds, a glorious gift of song. Wondrous it seems to me how this very thing can play with words through its foot beneath, adorned with trappings. It has on its neck when it guards its treasure, bare, proud with rings, its two companions, brother and sister. It's a great thing, surely, for a wise singer such as yourself to think on what this riddle is.
Well, Warsaw.
You say the seeds and the seeds.
It's got wings like a bird, but doesn't fly. It gets passed around the table.
And the tune is
Musical instrument is entirely too obvious. So that's probably not it.
guards its treasure.
It also has siblings, right and left, brother and sister.
Oh,
I think the wolves are getting impatient.
I think I have the answer. Open the back, right?
You googled that.
What? What do you funny is a Google?
I've never heard of Google.
You think you're very clever.
Wait, what was the answer?
There's a bagpipe.
Did you have Google that?
Now, I wasn't using Google.
I know you wouldn't. But I mean,
If we're gonna... Okay.
I mean, if she did, maybe she just knew it. I was thinking musical instrument. I would, but I was sort of stuck on the foot bit.
Very clever, yes, a bagpipe. You know, the trouble with a riddle game like this is that it takes so long. And after all,
like all night long, isn't it?
there weren't any terms proposed if I lose, if you lose.
I believe I did.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, then then we can fix that right now.
What are the terms?
What are the terms? Yes.
I propose that should we win, you have to take your wolfy friends and bugger off.
Oh, they're not my friends.
Well, then you can eat them.
You see, the wolves have the same sort of problem that I do.
Well, they're not as clever as you. You would get nearly as much enjoyment out of all this as you would.
Oh yes, I would enjoy eating you much more than they. With their slavering maws, they just tear you limb from limb, and then
Well,
you
and see,
gorge themselves on your gullets, and then they'd leave you for the hammerhorns to build their nests in.
That would be a mansion, let me tell you. Because, you see here, you see, my lady here and myself are no simple dwarf and lady. We would be a rare delicacy. You can't simply carve into us. That would be a waste. You have to spend some time sort of letting it breathe, as it were, before you feast, right?
Give me another riddle roll, Angi.
Let's make it again.
Staring at Angi.
16 again.
Here we go. Yes!
Oh my.
Wow.
That off.
Yes, you're right. I'll let you breathe. You see the spider slowly begins to recede up into the trees. And at that moment you hear a snarl from Sigaroon as the wolves leap into the clearing.
Right, okay.
And that's where we're going to stop for tonight.
I'm super confused about what just happened.
I think she's gonna let the wolves tenderize this a bit.
Cool.
Well,
The wolves are jumping into the clearing?
do you want to see?
I kind of do. Oh.
Son of a gun.
So, we'll start back in 2 weeks. I had no idea what was going to happen tonight. I knew, like, you guys had all these, well, while we're in the area, why don't we just kill some trolls, or search the Morwen's cave, or something planned. So I was just like, all right, well, here's how awful everything is. Let's see what they do. So, but I did not see you guys splitting the party completely. That was definitely unforeseen, so good job. Good job.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll pick up in 2 weeks, and whenever the thing with the wolves wraps up, whoever's left will do a year-end fellowship phase. And so figure out which
Year end?
Yes, year-end. So figure out what you're going to want to do for that.
So do we not do a mid-year?
Well, I had actually planned on you guys to do a mid-year tonight when you got to Thranduil's Halls, but then you guys were too smart for me.
Right, that's what that was. I think this is what happens when you follow your heart down into the yawnings.
Yeah, we'll do 2 fellowship phases next session.
Okay.
So, all right, Sophie is so afraid that I'm gonna cheat her out of that fellowship phase.
I need it.
But yeah, we gotta deal with the wolf thing first. So, okay, all right. Well, good night, everybody. Sorry we didn't get back to the rest of you guys, but it's hardly my fault, so I don't know why I'm apologizing. But yeah, think about your fellowship phase actions, and we'll do wheel and woe tables and all that stuff.
How
So,
much XP did we get for tonight?
you get 1 XP for tonight.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
You get 1 XP for tonight. For tonight,
Oh, still let me hear it.
you get no XP for tonight.
Push the girl the other way.
All right, guys. Well, fascinating developments tonight is all I can say.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
Good night.
Good night.